President Trueheart. Vice President Rollcloud.
Here.
Councilor Deedy.
Present.
Councilor Teets.
Present.
Councilor Trent. Councilor Monroe. Councilor Johnson. Borough Engineer Canoni and Associates.
Present.
Solicitor Kilkenny.
Present.
Finance Director present. Tax Collector. Madam President Jefferson.
Thank you so much. And if you didn't record that, Councilor Jonathan needs to let us know. All right, do we have a citizens forum? Have any forums? All right, we will move forward. Citizens forum.
Madam President, my written report will be submitted next week at the legislative meeting.
Thank you. President's report. We do not have a recent meetings this week. So get right over to our manager.
Thank you, Madam President. I have a few things. My report will be submitted next week as well, but I will like to let the community know that Delaware County has a new park and they are asking if Yeadon Borough residents will participate in the survey. The information is on the takeoff side and on our website. For you to participate in that survey, the park is actually going to be in Darby, 1201 Springfield Road. It takes about 5 to 10 minutes, and they are really hoping that our residents can participate in this particular survey.
Thank you. Thank you. And if I could step back, please, if that's okay, to give under the president's report, just to make us all aware that our Borough Manager or Finance Director, Mr. Nichols, gave a great presentation last night on our draft of our budget for 2026. It was virtual, and we did not have much attendance by the citizens, unfortunately. But what we did is I asked if he would post it because it was recorded, very detailed. So that recording is going on the website, so it will be able to be viewed. And then any questions that anyone has can be submitted. So we just wanted to make you aware of that. And I wanted to say thank you, Mr. Nichols, for putting that together and being very detailed in your presentation.
Thank you, Madam President.
All right. We'll move on. Do we have a solicitor?
Yes, thank you, Madam President. Not a whole lot to report. However, I am pleased to indicate that from what we've heard, and Mr. Collins, you can confirm this as well, it sounds like 725 Fern has come to a conclusion. Mr. Collins instructed them to install downspouts for rain management, and it seems that all the grading has been finalized, so we're probably very close to closing out that permit, and hopefully, Ms. Haupt, we can get together and make sure that we finalize the invoice for any expenses incurred, because it sounds like they're willing to pay those as well. So that's one less thing on the list, which is nice to put behind us. Additionally, I did meet with Mr. Collins regarding the commercial UNO ordinance. We went through it line by line and had some very constructive changes. However, there was recently a Commonwealth Court decision as of earlier this week that might impact that a bit. So there may be some additional changes required to make sure that we're compliant with the recent legal standard. So our anticipated timeline is to present that for council consideration likely early next year. And then lastly, as always, continuing to monitor, correspond on active and pending litigation. Again, we have a few meetings with some of the folks and trying to work out some settlements and things. So we're making progress in that regard. And that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. All right. Do we have a tax law report?
We do not, Madam President. It will be ready for next week's meeting.
Thank you. All right. Our engineers report.
Good evening. I have two probably grant-related topics, one that will be on the agenda for next week. The first one is an update about an upcoming grant in March. The Green Light Go program will be open. That is for signal upgrades. We've been very successful with some of the intersections we're working on now. We, if possible, I know we've talked a lot about the Church Road Business District and improving that corridor. The Church and Whitby intersection is one of the projects that could qualify for that program. I don't need any action or resolution, but I did want to bring that to your attention that it could be a possible application due in March. So that is the first one. The second one is regarding the CDBG project, which is the county's, Delaware County's community building block grant. They require a hearing. So next week, there will be a separate, besides the meeting, hearing that will take place, and a resolution that is passed for the application that is due early January. At our last meeting, we had discussed, this is a great program for sanitary sewer replacement programs. Just this week, we met with Borough Public Works borough staff to review the results of the I&I study and different projects and locations that we could identify as key improvements within the borough. We will be, based upon our findings and our discussions with Public Works, kind of generating a few-page report with recommendations, but we were able to identify one section about 400 feet right outside here, from Yeadon Ave, from Bailey to Redwood. The goal would be to replace and upsize the sanitary pipe in that section of roadway, and improve the system through that area. So that is our proposed project. If there's any questions, I can certainly answer them. And then that would be a hearing and a resolution at next week's meeting.
Thank you. Are there any questions? Councilor Tree.
Yeah, I know at the last meeting, there's something, I know it's the state that might be responsible for that one section on Church Lane in Chester, near where the trolley tracks are. It needs improvement. I don't know how we can go about getting the state to take care of that.
Oh, we're talking about the roadway conditions?
Yes.
Yes, so we did look into that, and since the borough has already submitted, what I would say, complaints or conditions to PennDOT, we're gonna try and formalize it in a different way and understand, see if we can get their attention in a different way. How about that? Instead of just an email, we're gonna try and do something from our side as well.
Thanks.
If there are no questions, thank you so much.
No problem. Have a good holiday and New Year.
Thank you. You as well. You as well. Before we proceed with our reports, committee reports, I just want to share that the council met prior to our caucus meeting tonight in executive session so that we could discuss litigation and personnel matters. All right, let us move on to our finance report.
Thank you, Madam President. We are in the process of asking all of our vendors to submit invoices that are outstanding so that we can wrap up our 2025 year. We are also in the process of reconciling our year end. We started that process a little earlier this year. Mr. Forbay actually will be on site for about a week just to ensure that we can have a smooth transition into 2026 and address some of the audit issues that we discussed in another meeting. The budget presentation and hearing we will have next Thursday before the council legislative session at 6:30, as we do every year. Of course, we'll be asking for approvals or considerations for an AP list, cash balance report, and also the delinquent tax sale that we do every year. That ends my report, Mr. President.
Thank you. All right. Ordinances and zoning. Comments?
Hello, everybody. Good evening. Just so real quick, a couple of our numbers. The smart violation notices is at 25. We had 11 resale inspections and 15 rental inspections. We received 2 court cases and 8 citations went out. And we had 8 requests for actions this month. Also, we are dealing with a couple problematic properties. We're dealing with 174 Park Place. It's been a little problem for a while, a couple things in the back. We're trying to work through and with Public Works to make sure we can get that straightened up. and cleaned out. It is a property adjacent to that, 109 Lincoln Avenue. Yeah, we're also working the same process of subtraction and stuff in the back. We went through the process of violations and citations, so we're going to kind of see where we can go to get that either abated or getting our own owner into court to see what we can do to get that, also they can get that straightened out. As the solicitor mentioned, 725 Fern Street, that has been down. They did do the few things that I did see left to protect the side, the property that was adjacent to it. And our last thing is they have it's a sour problem matter there that right now, because of the temperature, we cannot deal with, but we'll work with the bank owns that one. Work with the bank to make sure that when the season is right, they can get that straightened up. And I know there has been a few complaints about the notice of what's going on Lincoln Avenue with the water building ice.
Yeah.
We are working on that. We're doing a quick, we're trying to understand what the matter is being caused. We did talk to the person on what we believe it was. They did rearrange the way their sump pump was pushing out the water. They rearranged that. So we're going to hope, in hopes that that works. And also when the next time it does rain, we're going to be out there and check it out to see, is it just that or is there more to what's going on there? So that is my report.
Any questions? I have a question with related to that particular property. We haven't had any issues since they made that minor adjustment, correct?
Well, since they have made that minor adjustment, it hasn't been rain. So once the rain, I do think it could be a twofold problem there. It could just be that, or it could be something with the roadway.
I feel like when it was reported the second time, you didn't have any coming to it, this water was coming out and it was freezing.
Yeah, so the second time, it didn't make it to the drain. It wasn't raining. They have a rollback groundwork issue when it rains. When it rains, they get a lot of water in the basement. The sub pump is constantly pushing. So it was set up properly, pushing into a grassy area, but that water was so big of a puddle, it was still flowing into the street.
Okay.
To the groundwork.
And Mr. Collins, I'm sorry, I didn't hear. Who is it that you're working with this problem, to resolve this problem there?
Was the problem there?
Yeah.
Well, right now it's just the code department working on it so we can finalize, but if it becomes more than what we think it is, we'll be working with Public Works.
Okay, thank you. And does Aqua need to be involved with this?
I'm not sure. I don't think it's an aqua problem, 'cause I think but we can follow up again to see. But I don't believe it will be aqua.
Okay, and I'm sorry.
Madam Chair, thank you. So with respect to this instant matter that you're discussing right now, I think what needs to happen is you need to have a collaborative work relationship with Public Works, right now, because there may be several issues going on that will involve Public Works being involved. We need to make sure that there's proper drainage, right? Sewer lines or whatever is open, the proper drainage. If it is a roadway issue, now we're talking about engineering. So I think right now we can be doing something right now with respect to making sure that the drains in that area, to check to make sure that they're open and they're properly draining. Right, I don't see any need for us to kind of wait around for the next rain to come because like Mr. Nichols said, it wasn't raining. It was just cold that day and it was ice formed in the middle of the street. So we can be doing something right now. We don't really have to wait. We can check the drains to see if there's any blockages or anything, right? I mean, Public Works would be able to do that. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. I don't think we need to wait. We still can do things right now just to kind of check it off the box, right? So I guess whatever report you have to make up and whatever recommendations that's needed that Public Works can do, that we can do right now because snow is coming, right? If she's having a problem with water, she's going to continue to have a problem with water. So we want to make sure that the borough is put together and there's no issues with our infrastructure that's causing this puddling in the middle of the street, right?
Yes.
So I just want to make sure that we're going to stay consistent,
Yes.
okay?
Absolutely. I'll get all my stuff over, my recommendation.
Yes, please do.
It's more water than we can.
And include Mr. Nichols on the emails, right? On communications, include Mr. Nichols. Okay, also, I have a few questions, Madam Chair. Also, abatements. I'm noticing that abatements are not listed on your reports, right? So I'm just kind of curious to know how often are we abating, right? Because it comes through code first. Code let Public Works know what abatements need to be done.
Yes.
So if you don't mind moving forward, just include in your report abatements that are being done. Now, with respect to the house that you mentioned that had the debris in the rear, well, it's 2 homes with debris in the rear. So I do know the home on Park Place is unoccupied. I do know that, and I do know we can abate, right? Now, the other home that's adjacent to it, where they have the debris, it looks like a dump yard. We need to find out if that home is occupied. And if it's not occupied, we can absolutely get that on the abatement list too, right?
Yes, that's on our agenda for tomorrow to figure that out. We talked about that. I talked about that a little bit earlier. See what we can do. So that's on my agenda for tomorrow to check it out and see if that's occupied or not.
Okay, good. Now you did say the proper citations were issued.
Yes.
Okay, good. All right, now, we had the committee meeting a couple days ago, and you did mention a few ordinances that you wanted to review and have council, consider. I believe one of the ordinances was the swimming pool ordinance,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And another ordinance was the contractors. When contractors are doing work, currently, you were saying like they had 180 days to
Yes.
start and 180 days to finish and,
Yeah, so that one in particular, I'm not too sure about that one yet because that's not a borough ordinance. That's coming from the Uniform Construction Code. So I have to dig and see how can we adjust that
Okay.
to fit what we would want within the borough. But I do know that's not in our code, but that's Uniform Construction, ICC.
But we need to take a look and see what our codes are relating to construction work. So this stems from a home applied for a permit to have a roof done. And they applied almost 6 months ago. So from the time they applied, they have currently there's 180 days they have to actually start the work, right? But if they don't finish the work and they stop for whatever reason, then they have another 180 days. So we're talking about almost a year. And this particular home is draped in blue tarp.
Okay.
Right? So that's why I asked that we look at these ordinances and see what it says, because that makes no sense. And we're talking about improving the quality of life.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So that's going to be important. But I also would like for you to include, the ordinances that you do want to take a look at, that you feel the need to have some changes made to it. And just letting people know when you're giving your report, these are some of the things that we're looking into to improve the quality of life issues, right? So people know we're looking at this, okay? So just a couple of recommendations, okay? So thank you, I appreciate you. All right.
Just to comment again on the swimming pool, we are looking at that. I had it written down, I forgot, glanced right over it. We are looking at the swimming pool ordinance, I think it's 270. It is like a fee associated with it, but there's a couple other things that deal with inspections and stuff circling around it. So we're trying to see how it can best fit for the community.
That would be great. Now, may I make a suggestion?
Yeah.
Because I do know we've talked about this, taking a look at our ordinances and things that need to be updated, corrected, adjusted, whatever the proper terminology is. Would that, once as you're working through that process, would it make sense to hold a separate meeting just to go through all of that so that our residents are aware? Because that's a lot. I mean, and that's going to be a process, and that's more than I feel could be covered, just in you giving your reports, in a council meeting. I think that might even be a separate session that we could arrange just to go through all of that when we get to that point.
And Madam Chair, if I may, I guess it's the perfect time. For the public, I did bring an associate in to assist me with some of the management. Miss Taylor. Mrs. Taylor actually she started to look at ordinances, and she made the recommendation of us creating an ad hoc committee, so to speak, internally with some managers and some staff. Because we were talking, I know some of the parking ordinances, she was looking at based off of the passport app. That's a whole nother story that we won't get into tonight. That she wanted to do, she thought that we needed to address some things, even with some fees. And she looked at a couple of other things. So we've had that meeting on Monday, and she's putting that together. So we will keep you abreast, and we will even invite some council members if you want to sit in on that ad hoc committee that she was talking about.
Certainly, Council Roadcloud.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely, but thank you. Yeah. Thank you.
Well, I mean, we were just talking at the budget meeting, presentation last night that we were going to be aggressive with, the quality of life
That's right.
in this borough. So that's what it's about.
But thank you so much. Mr. Cummings, anything else you want to say?
No, I'll let it. Any other questions?
Nope, thank you. Appreciate it. All right. All right.
Present. Thank you, President Trueheart. Just to correct something from earlier, we didn't email PennDOT. We called PennDOT twice regarding Church Lane potholes, and I spoke with a human being. I spoke with the superintendent of maintenance over there twice. And I will just continue to call them until they address those potholes, and hopefully what Pannoni could do on their side will complement our efforts. But it was not email. I spoke with their superintendent twice. Regarding just updates from the Public Works Committee meeting, I spoke with Pico about the gas leak checks that they had on Holly and Myra, and they will come back and fill in those cracks that they made in the roadway to get those gas leak checks. I left a form in 311 and a voicemail with the Streets Department, Philadelphia Streets Department, to get more lighting or fix their lighting, whatever the issue is, on Whitby Avenue leading into Longacre. So hopefully I get a response from that. I found the wreath that Miss Johnson had brought up during the Public Works meeting. She had mentioned there were wreaths that go on Graceland, and I found them. She's here tonight, but hopefully I can see her and let her know I found them. She brought that up. I left 2 tickets on the SEPTA public comment section to see what we can do for those 2 shelters. Turns out those are ours. The borough owns those 2 SEPTA shelters along Chester Ave. So we will try to put in more maintenance into those. I know they look a little dilapidated. But those are the updates from the Public Works Committee meeting that I have. Regarding the report for tonight, we had an emergency call out on Black Friday to report for a downed tree. And the following day, November 29th, we had an emergency call out to reinstall a stop sign on Longacre. Just a reminder, our e-waste drop-off for the month of December is the day after Christmas, December 26th, at the Shopyard from 8 to 2. And our leaf collection ends on Monday, this upcoming Monday, December 15th. So get all your leaves out there before the season ends, please. Make sure you have that date on your calendars. We have all our snow equipment ready. It has been inspected and upgraded. We have all our trucks geared up for this weekend, especially. We're expecting, last I checked, 2 to 4 inches of snow the night of Saturday into Sunday. So we are ready for that. We're all geared up. Just projects that we're doing. We're analyzing the I&I report as the borough engineer reported. We're identifying sewer and stormwater improvement projects. And to Vice President Rocloud's point earlier, we are enforcing abatements. We don't have any current abatement requests, but we are in communication about those. And that concludes my report with one last note that we intend next week at legislative to have a resolution to present for consideration regarding the LSA statewide funds. We had one earlier as a joint resolution with the police department, but the grant administrators have told us that we can't have a joint resolution upon review of our application. So we are retroactively separating our resolutions for consideration next time we meet. Apologies.
I do have one question in reference to I do know the Church Lane is a state highway with the pothole situation. Do we have any leverage if you're not getting a response through the county or either through our state representative office to get them to move on dealing with that?
Yeah. So Catherine, I don't know if I let you know or not, but Marguerite, Harris, and some others will be here. They and not, so I can most certainly talk with them directly, and because that will be they're from PennDOT. They'll be here Tuesday at 10. If you want to pop in, you're more than welcome. But I will add it to my agenda to meet with them. And so I guess I'll ask councilmen to do that. Anything that you want me to discuss with PennDOT, if you can email it to me while they will be here on site on Tuesday.
Are there any other questions?
Madam Chair, no?
All right, thank you, Madam President. Just a follow-up on the SEPTA bus shelters. You mentioned two. There's three in that block. There's two east and westbound at West Cops Creek and Chester. And there's another one at the TriStar on Church Lane.
Correct.
So there are actually three. You said two?
We own two. The
So-
third, we probably do not own, so I will call Clear Channel if that
So the one
needs to be fixed.
at TriStar, SEPTA owns.
We own the one in front of TriStar and we own the one at West Cobbs.
Can you
And
repeat that? I can hear.
we own the one in front of TriStar. I believe that's Frankie Francis's old property,
Yeah,
that one.
yeah.
We own that one. And we own the one at West Cobbs Creek and at that intersection down by where the cannon used to be. We own that one. Chester, West Cobbs, I think it's 57.
But there's three. There's three.
There's two we own. There might be a third one that Clear Channel I would have to talk to you about maintaining, but from my understanding, we only own those two. The one in front of TriStar and the one back at the cannon.
And Mr. Mayor, I can confirm on our insurance property stuff. There.
Okay. All right. My last question is, what brought this about? What was the impetus to bring this to fixing it? Because that's been like that for like 10 years.
Someone, a resident mentioned it at our Public Works Committee meeting, and they would like to hear updates during these meetings. So on Tuesday night, someone had brought it up. So we are prioritizing.
I mean, I'm happy. Yeah. Anyway, that's good. That's good. Thanks.
Madam Chair, I have a question for Mr. Nichols. Mr. Nichols, I did bring to your attention earlier about this metal plate on Church and McDade.
Yes.
Okay, covering a big hole that's been there for quite some time. Any update on that with respect to what needs to be done, who's going to do it, when it's going to get done? Because I don't understand how that condition was allowed to exist for this long. I don't understand. We have a trash can right next to it that's dumped by our Public Works Department, but nobody said anything about this metal plate. That's number one. Number two, the lights in the gateway, the Whitby Avenue, right off of 59th and Whitby. It looks like on the Philadelphia side, the bulbs are out and it is completely dark. And several individuals have run into the guardrails, right? So I did take the liberty of calling Councilwoman Jamie Gardner. That's her area over there. And I did request that she assist us in getting those light bulbs replaced. However, I don't know if that's just going to be enough. I do know that several residents also made 311 calls and also called the councilwoman's office over there as well. But if we can get some sort of follow-up to, just light a little fire, because it is dark. And, years ago, we all remember what we found over there, right? So it affects us because you're coming through that gateway to get to Yeadon. So it affects us, right? It's not just enough for us to have our lights working and their lights not working. Right. So anything that your office can do, give a little call or something, or even the mayor, use your connections, right? And, assist us with getting some light over there, because it's dark. Okay.
So, Councilor, I would definitely follow up on both these items. I did see an email this evening, and I did communicate with the team. Of course, it was after hours, so I haven't responded yet, but I just plan on, we're together all day tomorrow, so we can plan on responding to those requests.
Right. With the photograph, you received the photo? Yeah.
But I didn't get a chance to see it until like after.
Yeah, that's fine. I tend to take photographs and send them that.
It's good, but it'll be good to have that cooperation right there, because in the past, we have had issues with the lighting as well as even with the smell. When we had bad weather, that, Philadelphia would stop and it's like, wait a minute, we're doing.
Right.
So, we have to work collaboratively with that. In addition to the other issue we found there, come through there, and when it's their season, they're running back and forth across there, and then that's accident waiting.
Right.
And so that'll be very helpful.
And not only that, the dumping too. The dumping is horrible. I saw a mattress, a couch over there, and people email us thinking it's Yeadon. So the collaboration is definitely Yeadon.
For our company works, and it also with the city, we work together. So,
And Madam Chair, and it's not enough to just simply say, we called 311. It's not enough. Sometimes we just got to pick up the phone and talk to someone, right? And send an email to someone, because that 311 is good, but it's better if you can actually send an email to someone voicing your concern, so you have a record of who you spoke to, right? And
We'll definitely follow up and that's some of our political capital. And sometimes it's relationships.
Right.
So
But I will say Jamie Gardner has been very helpful, because I did reach out about the potholes over there, and they were subsequently filled in. So she has been very helpful, but
I have a quick question. Can I ask a question? Yeah. Real quick about this subject. Is there a way, Mayor, you can maybe coordinate some type of joint meeting with that council person, and it doesn't have to be all of us, but Roval, yourself, and whomever else wants to be involved, to kind of get some understanding how things should be handled going forward with Yeadon and that part of Philly, because it would be nice to kind of put some type of process in place.
We could do
Because we could deal with this issue now, but there will be other issues that come.
Yeah, we could do that. I was going to, while we're talking about it, Chief, do you have a contact with, is it Southwest Detectives?
Chief West, I've reached out to our chief of staff to him, but yeah, I have a contact with Southwest. We can see if we can get a whole public safety thing together, because we definitely cross over.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'll reach out to Jeff Kett.
We could check with
We-
you,
we could
because I was
probably-
thinking, I have contact over there as well.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, thank you, Mr. Sir. Anything else you have to report?
Yeah, just to follow up on that, and I mentioned this on Tuesday night, there is an open grant for LSA Philadelphia, specifically for Philadelphia projects. And if that's something that they would like to look at and put in the grant application for funds, just to get that area lit up more public safety features, the roadway, anything that would add value to that area. If they're saying that they don't have funds, there's a grant open. So hopefully they don't respond that they don't have funds because there's a grant open. There can be something done. So hopefully that maybe helps the mayor with his conversations going forward. Thank you.
Public safety. Public safety.
Good evening, all. For the month of November, the police department responded to 1,154 calls for service. We had 11 criminal arrests in the month. We had 3 non-traffic citations issued. There was 110 car enforcements for the month. 946 tickets, parking tickets were issued. And I'm going to ask for a couple things, but I'll go into some of the highlights. We finished our food drive and we went down to Preston and Steve down at I don't want to talk about the Eagles, but where they play at, and it was great. And we got a lot of buy-in from the department where officers were actually sending emails like, hey, I'm going to BJ's tomorrow, Vend me or Cash App me. And we donated a bunch of food to the buy-in. Now we're talking about next year making it bigger, starting earlier. And, we're even talking about having a tailgate before the Preston and Steve donate the food. So it was great. And as you know, Speaker Joanna McClinton had her turkey drive in Yeadon, and from what I understand, they're coming back to Yeadon next year. They're going to look into Evans next year, so that was a great event. And of course, we had a great event at the Veterans lunch or brunch. That was great as always. So I'm going to go for the asks. I promised Mr. Nichols no money. We're going to ask for a advertisement next week to advertise an amendment to 285-32C special parking permit zones to include First Street, 800 Laurel, and 800 Arbor, to change it to 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. only. So that's no parking, 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. only, and you would need a permit for the other streets. Also, we're going to ask for another advertisement to change ordinance 285-30A, which is going to prohibit parking on the south side of Elder. The problem on Elder, when you go down Elder, there's parking on both sides. So Mike has been calling. The fire trucks have been having issues getting down there. So most of Elder, it's only parking on the one side. So we're going to ask for that block to actually have just a parking on one side. And then I'll also be asking a request to suspend overnight parking permit requirements for the 800 block of Laurel and Arbor from Wednesday, December 24th, 2025 until Friday, January 2nd, 2026 for visitors during the holiday season. Council did it for Thanksgiving, so we're doing it for this season. And I'll also be asking respectfully for a resolution for 2025-17 for the police department for applying for a statewide LSA grant. As Ms. Houck explained, a couple months ago, we combined them, but now we have to split them up. So I'll be asking for that next week. And that ends my report if there's any questions.
Madam Chair, one question. Chief, the issue with the street, is it Myra and Cypress, that area?
Yes.
Okay. Any additional thoughts, or you want to talk offline, or?
We can talk offline, and I spoke to the gentleman today, and I told him that we are discussing, and I sent an email out, and I went out there the day after, and I looked into it, and I shared my thoughts. The one major issue you have there is the way the ordinance is written properly. It goes to Cypress. Well, the property lines go back, and correct me if I'm wrong, your property goes to the back of your house. So that's the end of Cypress there. So the signs are posted properly. The other issue we would have is if we let all those vehicles parked there, if you have a fire apparatus trying to get in that back alley, they might get in, but they ain't getting out without taking about 4 cars with them. And the other issue we had, and I brought it to code, and we're still working on it, is there's an extension cord coming out of one of the houses charging a Tesla vehicle. So that, if you walk down here and trip, then it's like, well, there's an extension cord coming out of your house to charge a vehicle. So if council decides to amend the ordinance and maybe have 1 or 2 spots, but that would be the maximum you could do on that area. Because again, you need a fire truck to get back there, emergency medical personnel, or, even if somebody's moving, to get in that alleyway on the left-hand side.
Well, what about Cypress Street itself, adjacent to Myra? Is there parking allowed on both sides, or is it just one side?
There's parking allowed on both sides. And again, speaking to the community, and I know I joke, wintertime, there's no such thing as no savesies when you want to shovel out your sidewalk and put chairs. One of the individuals that's going through this came into me and said, look, every time we park on that side of the block, a person comes down and goes, what are you parking on my side of the block for? I'm like, no disrespect, but no one owns the street. Whether if you have a handicap sign, anyone that has a handicap plaque or a tag can park in that spot. You do not own the street. And that's something maybe we can talk offline with, maybe getting the mediation chaplains down here and talk to the neighbors and say, hey, anyone can park anywhere.
Yeah, and I think too, that may be something that we really need to educate across the board, not just there, because I see
Yes.
it elsewhere, and people get into, especially in bad weather, and no, you don't own the street,
Yeah.
and I've had to step in and break up something no, that's not what you do, and I think that's education of the residents to make them aware of what is allowed, what isn't allowed, and what you own, when you own the property. So those are the kind of things moving forward, I think we can institute, with some of the things perhaps Mayor will be included in the mayor's forum, or we set up separate forums to discuss some of these things, especially when we talk about quality of life, that touches on all of that.
Yes.
So, I think moving forward, we should do that.
Definitely.
Yeah, that would be my suggestion, but thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you.
And with the emergency management report, just the snow's coming, so, just be careful.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Can you report from our fire chief and the fire department?
Good evening, everyone. For my report, the Yeadon Fire Company responded to 125 incidents during the month of November. 47 of those incidents occurred within the borough of Yeadon, none of those being declared a major emergency. In addition to our normal operational response, we are pleased to announce that we will be escorting Santa Claus through the borough of Yeadon on December 20th at 4 p.m. Route and information and live tracking will be on our social media platforms and our website at yeadonfiredepartment.com. Also, we still have a substantial amount of smoke detectors available to any residents in need of smoke detectors. You can contact me by email, or you can contact the fire company, and we will be able to distribute those smoke detectors or install them for you if that's needed. That concludes my report.
Thank you. And I'm sorry, can you say the date of Santa Claus again? Because I have little people I need to make sure are at my house.
Okay. December 20th, that's a Saturday at 4 p.m. And we will have live tracking on all our social media platforms and on our website.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Will we see Santa Claus on the 20th?
Yes, you will. You will actually see Santa Claus tomorrow night.
Okay, okay.
Yep. Any questions?
Can you just give us, nothing in detail, but are we okay? There's local firehouses that are closing, seems to be a trend for affordability. How are we generally situated?
Yeah, so with the closing of Eastland's Fire Department coming December 31st, we actually do have an action plan for that. We have another replacement company that's going to provide mutual aid response to Yeadon Borough, that would be Sharon Hill Fire Department.
Okay.
So we still will have, substantial fire protection in the borough in the case of a fire.
Okay, and I know that there've been all these local fire companies in these boroughs have been challenged with volunteerism being on the downswing. agreements with the hospitals where they pay a certain amount and we pay a certain amount, and they've been cut back as Medicare and Medicare cutting back and hospital closing. Are we okay in that realm?
Yes, so the fire department, we rely on Mercy Fitzgerald Hospital to provide EMS service, and they still, and have not mentioned to me that that will change anytime soon.
Good.
And we have plans just in case that wasn't happen with different EMS resources throughout the county that will provide EMS service to our area.
Good.
Thank you. Chief, I have one other question or suggestion. With the tree lighting tomorrow and then the celebration afterwards, would it make sense to have some of the smoke detectors that you have available present, that the residents could get them there?
Yes, that's something I definitely can do. That would not be a problem at all. Have someone
That would
here
be
as well.
Thank you so much.
All right,
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Planning Commission, the only report I have is we did receive one resignation from the commission, so we will need to advertise to get resumes so that we can replace that person.
It's actually on the website.
Great, thank you. Okay, library. Do we have right?
Good evening. I just have a couple of things. The library was closed last Friday. Delaware County had an in-service day for all 26 libraries in the county. Anyone that works more than 20 hours has to have, the state requires us to have 3.5 CE credits, and that was how we were able to go get them. And everyone that worked at the library over 20 hours did go and attend the workshop. We are having a winter fest on December 18th. From 6 to 7, we're gonna have arts and crafts, holiday dinner meal kits that we're giving away, games, and special surprises. The Legacy Brick campaign is open until January the 15th, so if anybody still needs to get a break, or you know someone, just tell them to go to our webpage for Stockton and Library. And on December 29th, we are partnering with the borough to have a concert celebration at the library at 6:30. So everybody is invited to come.
Great. And I'm sorry, did you also want to share about the events that took place, like Black Saturday event or the events?
Oh. So I was not here for that.
Oh, okay.
Because I was away, but the Brains did sponsor Black Saturday extravaganza, and it was reported in the newspaper. We were on the front page. It was a very successful event. The vendors, there was a lot of vendors and people out, and it was a good time for everybody.
Wonderful, it was great. Great article in the paper, that was wonderful, thank you. Thank you. All right, recreation.
Good evening, everyone. So tomorrow, as you've heard, we are having our tree lighting and our holiday celebration on the second floor tomorrow at 7 o'clock, the tree lighting. I don't plan to be out there that long. I don't know why I put 7 to 8 on the flyer. I know I'm not standing out there for an hour, but please be here. Please be here for the tree lighting, because we'll be doing a little program. Then we're going to illuminate what is supposed to be a tree, but it's really a pole, and we'll light it up. We're looking forward to that. And of course, on the second floor, we'll have our holiday event. Once again, everyone is invited. Please bring your family. It is a fun for everyone event. Our Mayor's Catering is working diligently and hard as we speak to get it to look wonderful for tomorrow. And I'm really excited to see how that's going to turn out. Also, as Darlene mentioned, we are partnering with the library to do a Kwanzaa event on the 29th. We hope to see a lot of you there at 6:30. More information regarding that will follow. So please come out tomorrow, and looking forward to a great event as always. Thank you.
Good evening, Council. I don't have any voice. Y'all and your kids all day. The new tax inserts, I think Mr. Nichols, 3,000. Yeah, this is the older one, that's similar, very colorful. If you need any extras you want to give to kids, It's almost like a color. So that's it. Philadelphia Flower Show is coming up. It's very expensive, so I'm giving you 3 months notice. To go to the flower show. We'll try to work on some group tickets, see what we can do, but it's called Rooted, showing the public how to spruce up their lawns, talking about quality of life, that type of thing. So we'll figure out a way to get some people down there. Finally, through the Stormwater Collaborative, we're a part of 8 boroughs, townships, municipalities. We just received a grant from the National Fish and Wildlife for $360,000 over 3 years to do the rain barrels, and I'll get the date right, so I won't argue with Council. But we'll have the rain barrels, we'll have the rain gardens, all type trees for residents. But it looks like we're okay for the next 3 years for that program. So that'll be a good thing.
Excuse me, Mr. Hunter, what is the date of the flower show?
Pardon?
What's the date of the flower show?
The flower show is February the 28th through March the 8th.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, well, if all hearts and minds are clear, may I have a motion to adjourn? So moved.
Seconded?
Yeah. All right. Yeah, sure.